Nostra Aetate ha portato
60 years ago, Nostra Aetate brought hope to the world of that era, because hope was lacking. We're talking about the period after the Second World War, after the end of colonialism, when there were many wounds. So the document Nostra Aetate gave a new understanding of God, of the Church, and of humanity, in order to heal wounds and then go towards reconciliation. That is why the document says that we are brothers and sisters, we belong to the same human family, because God is the Father of all. In this sense, we cannot discriminate against anyone on the basis of race, color, or religion. The document also states that other religions have rays of truth. Religion seeks to provide an answer to the anxiety in the human heart. There is also respect for their rights and their precepts. This new understanding of others has changed our mentality, our words, our language towards others, as well as our behavior.
If we think about Nostra Aetate, it doesn't matter if we're 60 years from it or 60 years ago at the time. It simply represents the benchmark in how we greet each other. It calls us to reach out to each other, actually, as Pope Leo said, in love. And reaching out in love never goes out of style. So whether it's 60 years, whether it's 120 years, I think it will always be the benchmark by which we measure ourselves, to reach out to each other in love and to learn what is good from each other.
The Nostra
Aetate document represents a paradigm shift and a change in perspective, because it begins with the phrase, "The Church regards Muslims with esteem." The word esteem can be seen in two ways when it refers to Muslims, meaning that we cannot ignore other people, we cannot despise them, but we can also appreciate their beauty. And this is an act of liberation, because the selfless love for other people is able to encourage them to open up and bring out the best in themselves.
Over the past 60 years, this document has brought followers of different religions together to work for peace and other issues that affect the whole of humanity. And now, 60 years later, we recognize the fruits of this journey, because, as you saw on the 28th of October, we have gathered the fruits of this long journey.
It was moving to see all these religious leaders from around the world, from various religions. I said to myself, this conciliar document of Nostra Aetate has truly been an important milestone, a turning point. What struck me about what the Pope said was that in the heart of every person, there is this charity, this love. So every religion emphasizes also this value.
For me, dialogue is about building relationships and prioritizing relationships. It means, again, to quote Pope Leo, that we reach out to each other in love. Like it says in Leviticus 19:18, that we have to love our fellow as ourselves. And the truth is, that's actually very hard to do. If it weren't hard to do, Leviticus wouldn't have to say it, Jesus wouldn't have to say it, every culture wouldn't have to remind us that we have to love each individual person, each individual fellow, as we love ourselves. In fact, the great Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch famously said that verse teaches us that each person on this planet is here so that we may serve them, so that we may love them, so that we may be in relationship with them. So we have to hold on to that idea that each individual, not collectives, not just the people we can see, not just people in our neighborhood, but that each individual on this planet is ours to love and to serve.
There are always new generations who need to learn what dialogue means. To these young people, I say, just meet people, travel, learn languages, have a hands-on experience of dialogue. And in this way, dialogue becomes a space for spiritual and human growth, an act of liberation. Why? Because it is a real risk to fall into the tribal mentality of clans and see identity merely as a box, like a prison, like being a fan of a sports club. This impoverishes religion, whereas a religious, spiritual, authentic experience requires dialogue as an indispensable condition for an experience that is open to the world and open to humanity.
I think religions have an important role to play at this very moment, because every religion has its own golden rule, which, if we make the most of it, it can truly help us discover that we are all brothers and sisters. So, if everyone lives their faith sincerely, I think that religions today can really help humanity to be more harmonious and to live in peace.
Building bridges between faiths means accepting that we are different, and yet we are all made in the image of God. I keep saying that it's a difficult task, but it is one. For many generations, the way we've tried to reach out is to see the common in each other, to see how we relate to each other, how we're both the same. But to really appreciate a bridge, we have to understand that it connects two different points. A bridge from one point back to the same point doesn't go anywhere. And a bridge between faiths connects two very different communities. And if it's really successful, if it's really strong, then it allows our differences to shine and be the thing we appreciate about each other.
It gives me hope when I see someone who is transparent, sincere, someone who does not try to imitate or satisfy others. It is someone who feels the suffering of others with great compassion, someone who cannot sleep because their neighbor is suffering. What frightens me is indifference, being unaffected by the pain of others. So if we suffer with other people, we can cry with them in that moment, and in the future we can celebrate together.
In quel momento possiamo domani festeggiare insieme.